There is a moment in sport, a single, razor-thin moment, where everything the world thinks it knows gets proven completely wrong, where the scoreboard lies, where the favorites crumble, where one human being, carrying more weight than anyone in that stadium can possibly understand, decides that fear is just a feeling, and feelings don't win races. This is the story of one of those moments. And it starts with a woman lying flat on the track, in front of the entire world. Go back exactly 1 year. Budapest, 2023. The World Championships. Mixed 4x400-meter relay. Femke Bol of the Netherlands is on the anchor leg. She has the baton. She has the lead. She has gold in her hands with just meters left to run. And then, in a single brutal second that every Dutch fan, every track coach, every athletics journalist will never be able to unsee, she falls. Down onto the track. Flat. The baton still in her grip. The finish line just ahead of her. And the gold medal gone. That image does not just disappear. It lives inside you. It replays in your sleep. It follows you to every practice, every warm-up, every moment you close your eyes and try to find your focus. Some athletes never escape a moment like that. Some get so scared of falling again that they shrink. They stop attacking. They stop believing. They run careful, controlled, quiet races, and they hope that's enough. Nobody would have blamed Femke Bol for doing exactly that. But that's not this story. Fast forward 12 months. Paris, August 2024. The Olympic Games. And it is the night of the mixed 4x400-meter relay final. Same event. Same format. 2 men and 2 women on each team, each running a full lap around the track, passing the baton in a sequence that rewards not just speed but nerve, execution, and the ability to hold yourself together when the whole world is watching. The Netherlands are here. And so is Femke Bol, on the anchor leg. Again. But before we even get to her, we need to talk about what she was walking into. Because it was not just a relay final. It was something that had never happened before at an Olympic Games. The night before the final, the United States of America did something that made the entire track and field world stop breathing for a second. In the preliminary heats, a round that is supposed to be about qualifying, about conserving energy, about not showing everything you have, Team USA ran 3 minutes, 7.41 seconds. A world record. In a heat. Before the final had even started. Read that one more time. They broke the world record before the final. That is not a tactic. That is a statement. That is a team so loaded, so deep, so impossibly fast, that even their warm-up run goes into the history books. They had the best relay squad on the planet. They had splits that looked like something out of a video game. They had the crowd inside the Stade de France buzzing with the kind of confident energy that only comes when everyone already knows how this ends. The Americans were going to win. That was not an opinion. That was math. The race begins. Quincy Hall and Bryce Deadman and Shamier Little and Kalen Brown. These are not just good athletes. These are elite relay specialists, primed for this exact moment, firing on every cylinder. The United States goes out hard. They lead early. They build. They push. On the second leg, Shamier Little takes the baton, and she absolutely flies. Tall, powerful, with a stride that covers ground like she's angry at the track itself. She had run a 49.4-second split in the heats that turned heads worldwide. For the Netherlands, Lieke Klaver steps up and refuses to let the gap open too wide. These 2 women run side by side for most of the leg, and the crowd inside the stadium can feel it. Something is building here. Something is building, but nobody can quite name it yet. Then the men take over. And this is where the race, to almost everyone watching, effectively ends. Bryce Deadman attacks his leg with pure aggression. He runs like a man who does not understand the concept of pacing. And this is the moment that should have buried every other team on that track. Quincy Hall grabs the baton and runs something that will be studied in coaching clinics for the next 20 years. 43.91 seconds. Let me put that in context for you. A 43.91 in a relay, on the anchor leg of a world championship or Olympic final, under the full weight of that pressure, against the best teams on earth, that is not just fast. That is a different category of human performance. It is the kind of split that makes coaches put down their clipboards and just stare. It is the kind of split that gives anchor runners stomach cramps before they even touch the baton. Quincy Hall did not just build a lead. He opened a chasm. He ran away from the field so fast that the gap looked insurmountable from every angle, in every camera shot, to every single person watching. The United States was going to win. They were going to win by a lot. And there was nothing anyone could do about it. Except there was a woman at the end of the Dutch relay order who had spent 12 months carrying a weight that nobody else in that stadium fully understood. A woman who had been asked about Budapest in every interview, every press conference, every casual conversation with a fan or a journalist or a teammate. A woman who had trained for a year not just to be faster, but to be stronger in here, in the place where fear lives. Femke Bol takes the baton, and the gap she is looking at is enormous. Her first 200 meters are almost eerily calm. If you were watching without knowing the context, you might even think she wasn't pushing hard enough. She is not flailing. She is not wild-eyed. Her arms are low, her stride is long, her head is steady. She is building, but she is doing it quietly. She is counting down the meters with something cold and controlled behind her eyes. She is not panicking. She is hunting. Around the bend, something shifts. If you watch the footage, and you should watch it 100 times, you can see the exact moment when the crowd begins to realize what they are witnessing. People start standing. Not because a PA announcer told them to. Not because something on the scoreboard changed. They stand because their eyes are telling them something impossible is happening in front of them, and their bodies respond before their brains catch up. She is coming for them. In second place, Amber Anning of Great Britain is running the race of her life. 48.81 seconds. That is an extraordinary performance under any circumstances. She is giving everything she has to every stride. Ahead of her, Kaylin Brown of the United States is holding the lead, running 49.4 seconds, executing her leg almost perfectly. Both of these women are elite. Both of them are doing their jobs. And both of them are about to be passed by something that does not look entirely human. Femke Bol runs 47.93 seconds on the anchor leg of an Olympic relay final. 47.93. After everything. After Budapest. After the fall. After watching Quincy Hall build a lead that looked completely impossible to close. After standing at the final exchange zone knowing the gold medal appeared to be gone. She takes the baton in that moment and she runs faster than she has ever run in her entire life. Precisely when it costs the most. Precisely when it would have been easiest to just hold on and survive. With 20 meters left, she catches Kaylin Brown and goes past her like the finish line is on fire, and she is the only one who can see it. The Netherlands crossed the line in 3 minutes, 7.43 seconds. Gold. The United States finish in 3 minutes, 7.74 seconds. Silver. A world record yesterday, beaten today. Great Britain take bronze in 3 minutes, 8.81, a national record for them. Belgium finish in 3 minutes, 9 flat. Also a national record. Every team on that podium ran the fastest relay their country has ever run, and they still couldn't touch what the Netherlands did. That is how fast this race was. That is what kind of night this was. And it was Femke Bol's name that everyone was saying when they walked out into the Paris night. But here is what I want you to sit with, because the numbers do not fully capture it. Falling in Budapest the way she did, in front of the world, at the exact worst moment, in the exact worst way, that kind of experience does not just sting and then fade. It rewires you. It plants a question deep inside your competitive instincts that you cannot reason your way around. The question is not technical. It is not about fitness or form or strategy. The question is, what if it happens again? What if the same race, the same pressure, the same moment, what if it ends the same way? Most people, if they're being completely honest, would have found a way to not be in that position again. Not consciously, maybe. But they would have found ways to manage their starting position, to change their event, to make sure they never had to stand at that exchange zone feeling what she felt in Budapest. Femke Bol walked back into the exact same fire. Same event, same leg, same pressure, bigger stage. And she ran faster. She attacked when she could have survived. She went for gold when she could have settled for silver and called it redemption enough. She chose the moment that terrified her most, and she turned it into the greatest relay leg of her generation. That is not just athleticism. That is a particular kind of courage that is very hard to name and very, very rare to witness. The American team had the world record. They had Quincy Hall's 43.91. They had Shamier Little's splits and Bryce Deadman's aggression, and a squad that any relay coach on earth would trade everything to have. They did almost everything right. And they still lost to one woman who decided that Budapest was not the end of her story. It was just the part before the best chapter. In 30 years, when people talk about relay racing, when they sit down with young athletes who are learning what this sport can be, they will play that footage. The camera tight on Femke Bol coming off the final bend, the crowd rising, the gap closing meter by meter, and 47.93 seconds of the purest athletic performance you have ever seen. They will say, that is what it looks like when someone refuses to be defined by their worst moment. They will say, that is what it looks like when fear becomes fuel. And they will say the name Femke Bol, and everyone in the room will know exactly what they mean.